So the make command basically just lets you run files. If I open up like a Python file and then we get some code in here like print hello, and then let's do it 5 times, little Python trick for you as a bonus. Okay, I don't have a Python formatter right now, but if we type make on this, nothing will happen, and that's because we have to set up make per file type to work. And the way you do that is with a setting called make and then purge, I think is how you say it. And we set this equal to some kind of shell command that'll run our file. So Python 3 in this case, and then we're going to need to pass it the name of our file. You have to escape spaces, so we'll do %sign for that. And then after that, we should be able to run make, and you can see it'll compile just fine. So that is quite nice. I actually have this set up for a lot of different languages, and I use it so frequently. I think I have a make bind. Yeah, I have leader R set to make, and it's just basically a code runner, right? It'll run the code, but it does more than that too. So especially for, let's open up like a Rust project. So if I go into this main file and then I run make, you can see a bunch of errors will be generated, right, from trying to compile this because it's outdated code. And when I hit enter, I'm actually going to be jumped to that error, and that's because it's going into the quick fix list. And you can traverse that with bracket and then Q. If I turn on my show keys, oh, I actually uninstalled that because it was ugly, but you can take my word for it. Bracket and Q will allow you to traverse over the quick fix list. And I think if we cope, and you can just type cope, we can see our entire quick fix list here. How is this actually working though? Because if you know anything about the quick fix list, it's basically just a list of errors and locations, and then it allows you to jump to them. And this is like far from that, right? It's kind of a monstrosity of a file. Like there's all this other stuff going on. I mean, Rust errors are nice, but this is not like a traditional quick fix list. So the way that that's being set up is through, there's something, I think it's called error format or error file. I think it's error format. Basically, what that is it's like some kind of string representation that allows you to say, okay, this is what the output is going to look like. This is how you would take it and put it into the quick fix list if you needed to do that. And it's kind of defined for you. It would be weird to try to define these yourself because it's kind of like complicated output. And a lot of like language plugins in Vim will just define it out of the box. So the Rust plugin, which is just enabled by default in NeoVim now, if you didn't know, you can just like basically reference cargo commands. So if you actually do help cargo, you can just run like the cargo commands through the Rust extension. And same thing with like make, it kind of sets up make for you. So you notice how in the Python file I set it up manually. That's usually not the case. Usually the plugins will handle it for you, but not always. So like more obscure things, you kind of have to set it manually. So for instance, I believe for types, I have, okay, I don't. I guess their editor sets it up manually, but I know for C++ I do. So in my after directory, which just like is per file type configuration basically for C++, I'm setting the make proj to cd into build and then run make. And the reason for that is just because the way I run I have this certain like C++ template for array marcher that I do all the time, and to run that it involves cding into build and then going like make and then the executable name, which is Ray Marcher, you know, and so it's kind of more involved. And it basically lets you set up any arbitrary run sequence. Once this compiles in a sec, we should see that it worked. And then you can run any kind of thing. And if I open up like a C++ file and then hit that make command, it'll just do it from there. It won't actually open it yet because I don't want to like destroy my error list. But yeah, it lets you define any custom instructions to run anything. And a lot of language type plugins will kind of define default ones for you, but you can really just use it as kind of a runner extension. Now there's a couple things about this that I still don't have fully under control. There's some plugin, I think, I'm not exactly sure what it's called, but it basically defines like make error formats and make expressions for like basically every common language. Because there's a lot of them where it's not ideal, you know, like for instance, types, let's see if I have real analysis. Okay, so here's some homework. And if I make this, and this is like kind of a weird newer language, right? The extension, the language server, is setting up my make expression for me. So it kind of knows what to do. You can see, boom, types compile, and then diagnostic format short, and then it's like just sending this stuff out. But I believe this isn't currently working with like a quick fix list. So if I create a bunch of errors, like for instance, these are all dangling, and then I try to make, okay, we're getting errors, but I don't know if it, okay, it does populate the quick fix list. That's awesome. Never mind. I thought that did not work, but it seems like that sets it up. I guess my only problem is I don't know how to set that up for certain languages. C++, for instance, like I was showing in that last project, I ideally want my leader R to like compile and then run, but also like still preserve the error output format so that I have a quick fix list to jump to like all the compile errors. But the problem with that is like if I were to, in my configuration, where was I? Oh, like do something like oh, it looks like I almost started doing it. Ray, you know, marching. And that would run it for me. That would look nice, but then the output would now be this running process, and that would destroy my error file, as far as I understand it. So if you're an expert on Vim in any way, or just you've had this problem, you're a big fan of Make, I would love to hear how you handled this and like what custom things you have set up for different languages, and also, yeah, what extensions you use to kind of set up the majority of things for you that are annoying. But overall, yeah, it's pretty easy and simple to get started with this. And what I like also is defining like custom little workflows if I know I'm going to be doing something over and over again, you know. Like say I was back in that real analysis, and maybe for whatever reason I'm exporting tons of PNGs, right? I can really quickly do set make proj equal to, I don't know, like typed, I guess typed compile. Oh, you have to do, oh no, I guess if you do a bang, you wouldn't have to do spaces probably. Types compile dash dash format equals PNG. And okay, maybe you do have to. Types backslash space compile and then backslash space format or dash dash format equals PNG. And then that seemed to work. And then we make now, and boom, it compiles and it'll be a PNG. And the error list kind of fucked up there because, yeah, it's now like we don't have it in the same way because it looks like that was the types compiler was like forwarding it to something. But yep, that's about it. It's a quick and easy way to set up code running. And yeah, I'll catch you next time.